Hey people, welcome to the Angst podcast. My name is Jericho and thank you for tuning in today. For this discussion, I actually want to have a conversation about a topic we've already gone over. I want to chat about free will again, but I'm hoping to take this podcast in a little bit of a different direction and end with a specific commodity that I think may have massive influence over everybody, assuming that we don't have free will. In case you guys missed it, I already did this topic. I think it was episode 3, if I'm not mistaken. If you're watching on YouTube right now, I'll probably throw up just a quick little link so you can go back and see that one in case you missed it. If you did, the idea was that there's two types of people in this world. There are individuals that believe in free will. They're conscious thinking creatures that have the ability to act under their own discretion. They don't have any constraints on their decisions or influence necessarily on what they want to do. They're in charge of their own thoughts. In episode 3, I challenged that view. Instead, I said that I don't believe we're necessarily free will thinking individuals. I think that there's a lot of things that have influence on us. Our life circumstance, our place of birth, the year that we were born, our parents, our friends, our social expectations, and to a certain extent, our monetary limitations. I think for today's episode, I want to chat a little bit about how money influences your free will. And the reason being is that I follow a guy named Dan Balzerian on Instagram. If you guys don't know who that is, he's essentially a rich kid poker player who has a shit ton of Instagram followers. And he's kind of a funny guy, to be honest. He's very unique. He spends most of his days on private jets or yachts with tons of girls with fake tits, and a couple of his bros, they shoot guns, ride Sea-Doos, they go fucking... they do everything. They just have fun. They travel the world and they party and they do whatever they want to do because they're rich as shit. And it's kind of weird because a bunch of us just tune in and watch him all day, including myself. I mean, I follow him. I'm one of his 15 or 20 million, or who the hell knows how many he has now, followers. And what's kind of interesting is, who the hell is this guy? Why is he so nuts? Why does he act this way? Also, how did he get his money is a common question, but I'm not going to go into any of that stuff. But what's kind of really interesting is that just seeing how he can maneuver through his decisions. Because if you had fuck you money, if you had so much money that you weren't ever restricted into, can I afford this, or should I do this, or can we go on this vacation, or where should we live? If none of that mattered, it was 100% based off of just impulse. And what do you want to do? And what would be the best thing that could happen right now? If it was just based off of that, what kind of thoughts would come into your brain? I want to call this the Justin Bieber effect. Justin Bieber's an innocent 15-year-old, okay? I don't remember what year he gets discovered, but mid-2000s. He's some kid on YouTube making a video. He's really talented. He's honestly got a pretty good voice. If you've seen the original Justin Bieber videos, he sounds really good, especially for a kid that age. He ends up getting found and signed and making a shit ton of money and creating tons of great songs. And now all the girls his age and every other age want to fuck him. He's literally a billionaire. Probably not billionaire. He's a millionaire. He's got tons of money. Everybody keeps telling him how talented he is and how impressive this is, and at what such a young age, he's such a prodigy. And you're kind of the shit, right? And if you had all the money and all the girls and all the people around you telling you that anyways, how could you not become some kid that gets a shit ton of tattoos and probably starts doing drugs and races cars down Dubai and maybe gets into a little bit of trouble from time to time? Of course. What if you got so much money so fast that you didn't know what to do with it? What if all of a sudden your life circumstance changed so quickly that you kind of freaked out? If you had so much money, if you're a free will thinking individual, I guess that's not a big deal because you're still in charge of your thoughts and that you're still the one that's going to influence all of your decisions. And for most of us, money comes in kind of slower. It takes time. You got to grind a bit. You got to get paychecks. You got to have savings. You got to, get an education or work your way up in the company or get promotions or new jobs or whatever it may be. It takes time for most people, for a lot of people. And because of that, the changes might be more slow. The free will decisions might not be as significant because it's a day-to-day existence that you're having. It's over the course of 30 years, and there's a million factors that have influence. But what if money dropped on you now, instantly, right in front of you? What if you got money so fast? What would happen to your decision-making skills? What would happen to the person that you are? It would probably be really different. I like to think about myself. I live in a life circumstance where, I can afford some things, but I need to budget accordingly. I need to make sure that I have enough to eat and to live and pay my rent. And, if I want to have a car, then I should make sure it's a relatively affordable car and I should budget my life accordingly. I need to be at least smart about it. But if I had so much money all of a sudden If I was born into a life from day one that I had so much money that I didn't have to worry about those things, I mean, what type of person would I be? What options would my consciousness retrieve or pull upon when I was coming up with, what am I going to do with my day? Or how am I going to spend my time? Or where would I like to live? Or what vacation would I like to go on? I mean, if I had fuck you money from day one, I'd probably be a way different person, right? And I mean, I'm sure there's some people right now that are listening saying, oh, that has nothing to do with free will. That's just your ability to buy things. Yeah, but it's the thoughts that would come into your head. When I was watching Dan Bilzerian's Instagram story, this is a little while ago, but he's a gambler, right? I remember him on the Joe Rogan podcast. He told a story about betting a friend that he could bike from, somewhere West California to Vegas. So it was like a couple hours, pretty hard bike through the desert. And he said he'd do it in a certain time limit and bet his friend like $1 million or whatever it was. He's a gambler. He just throws around money. And so the other day on his Instagram story, he has some friend where he basically says, you know what, this guy was kind of fat and he was a little bit overweight. And so if I'm Dan Bilzerian and you're the fat friend, I walk up to you and I say, hey, man, you know what? You're looking a little overweight. What are you, like 25, 30% body fat? It's not good for your health, man. You know I love you. I want you to be healthy. I want you to live a long time. Here's the deal. If you're having trouble working out, if you're having trouble losing weight, I'll spice it up for you. $500K. Get under 10% body fat. I'll give you 6 months. I'll give you $500,000. Okay? I want you to be healthy, man. Good luck. And I walk away. I'm Dan Bilzerian. You're the fat friend. Holy shit, hey? I mean, that's a pretty motivating factor. If right now, if you're listening and you're an obese or overweight individual, if you're maybe not as impressed as your body fat as you could be, I mean, what's holding you back from keeping it down? Motivation, maybe you don't care, maybe you don't understand the detrimental effects, maybe you're addicted to food, maybe there's a lot of things that influence your free will, potentially, I don't know. And because of that, I mean, you're probably having time losing some weight. But if honestly your friend, your rich friend walked up to you and offered you hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to lose weight, you think you get the motivation then? I mean, probably, right? That's kind of why people work. That's why people have jobs and go to work on a daily basis, is you want money. If you had the ability to lose weight to get money, you'd probably do that pretty well. I mean, people are really adaptive to their circumstances, right? And if money, which is a resource we all interact with and all require, was presented to you quickly, who would you become? What decisions would you make? What would you be willing to do to retrieve that money or to get that money or to gain that monetary wealth? And then once you became addicted to having that wealth, what kind of decisions would you make? What would your life look like and how would you spend your time? I mean, it's kind of nuts. It's super nuts. That's kind of the reason why a lot of people who win the lottery end up getting kind of fucked. I mean, first of all, because people that play the lottery a lot are probably not very good with their money. And second of all, people that tend to win don't know what to do with themselves. They've been given so much freedom and so many possibilities and just a overload of stimulus in their consciousness because their free will is fucking zapping out on the side because they don't know what to do anymore. They usually follow a subset of rules or circumstances or equations that they used to have, limitations that were set on their decisions. And fucking $250 million just flew into their bank account, and all of those ways of thinking and all of those previous neurons and firings and information is out the window. So what they do, they spend frivolously. They freak out. They spend all their money almost immediately. And a lot of them actually end up not having millions anymore. And that kind of sucks, right? Could you imagine having $200 million and then being broke again? Holy shit. And why would you do that? If you're such a free will, rational thinking individual, you think that you would have this money and be all right with that. But here we are. You're somebody that has so much money that your decisions can now change. Your freedoms are now lifted. The thoughts that come into your brain might be different. We all like to think that it won't happen to us because we're all these smart, intellectual, thought-controlled individuals. But if it did happen to you, are you so certain that you would be able to hold back and resist? Are you so certain that you wouldn't just start spending nice cars, bigger houses, fucking divorce your wife, get a hot one, live the dream, man? You're worth millions now. I mean, it's just an interesting thought. I think it's kind of weird because there's so many things that can have influence on us. And I think people are so quick to point the finger at somebody when they act a certain way and say, I would never act like that. But here's the difference, guys. You're from a completely different circumstance. None of your characteristics or environments are the same. And because of that, of course you won't make the same decisions. You're not wired to. It's not in you. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you listening to a kind of a repeat topic. Hopefully I didn't repeat too many points or kind of ramble just off the same shit as the last episode. If I did, please leave a comment and I'll try to come up with some more original ideas for you guys. And as always, I appreciate you listening. We'll see you next time.